you're running for state senate. You are in that next chapter of your life. This could be where you're able to do things at a new experience. You're able to, carry everything that you've got and be the best that you can be, not necessarily in Oklahoma, because you are running for state senate of Oklahoma, but how can you be the best state senator possible? Tell us about your election run. What prompted you to
Yeah, why are you
run
doing
in
it?
general? Why are you doing it? And what is your vision for this role?
You know, I'm asked that question all the time. And outside of saying that it's not been on my bucket list to run for Senate or any public office, I've been very fortunate that I got involved up at the Capitol 20 something years ago. My first experience really heavy at the Capitol was when OU went to build the Weather Center. When they built the Weather Center, they passed some bills here at the state that were not quite honest. And even Dr. Ed Kessler, who had been the director of the Weather Center, fought against the funding of the Weather Center. It was wrong because based on false information, they convinced everybody that they needed to raid the groundwater indemnity fund, the cleanup fund, to clean groundwater at gas stations. It was not, the money didn't come through a tax. The local, in Oklahoma, the tank owners agreed to pay a penny a gallon fee as their insurance policy, and instead of paying 3 times that to private industry and the money going out and not getting a good cleanup fund going. And so they raided that the tank owners indemnity fund, their insurance policy, and put that money over there. And so they were trying to dismantle the program and then leave that fee as if it was a tax and move that to another agency and to use that money elsewhere. And so I jumped in the middle of that and got involved, and boy, did I get an indoctrination. I mean, Judge Bachman was a junior member of the House of Representatives. We went up there and I can tell you, Speaker of the House one day was at that time was acting like he was on our side. He was writing the bill. He's got Thad and I on the phone at the same time. And this bill comes up the last of session, and he tells Thad, yeah, that's the bill that's going to help you guys. And so Thad votes on the bill. And then when it came out, that, because it was a last minute deal, the bill was completely the opposite. I mean, so I'm like, whoa, that's what they call we woke a switch down in Seminole County. And so, I've seen that, and I went through that, and I did not like it. And so I started learning how to stay on the backside, but push heavily and not go up there and get in the fight, not get the microphone, And so I've had a lot of success over these 20 something years in moving bills and getting legislation changed. Governor Keating created in somewhere around 2000, 2002, they created the Oklahoma Water Resources Driller, it's Driller and Pump Installers Advisory Council. And so, that's the stakeholders leadership of our industry. And it was created based on congressional district. And so I was appointed to that board or that council based on the congressional district. And we've had a lot of influence of stopping some bad laws pertaining to groundwater, and then had some great influence of getting good things changed. And so one of them was here 7, 8 years ago during the heavy fracking time when what they call the stack and the scoop, Western Oklahoma, was going crazy. We were able to get what they call the Marginal Water Act passed, which in the water well world, there's what's called TDS, total dissolved solids, and you cannot produce a well at that time with anything greater than 5,000 parts per million And so it was restricted between 5,000 and 10,000 parts per million. Nobody could use it for anything. No, we got a bill passed that would allow them to use that water, contaminated water or impacted water, whichever you want to call it, non-potable. You couldn't drink it, and there wasn't means to economically treat it. Okay. So you could use that water to frack with versus using good, clean, potable water. And so, we've seen a lot of good bills get through there. And so I'm the chairman of that council now. I serve on that council. I serve with the Oklahoma Corporation Commission on the underground storage tank. It's called the STAC Storage Tank Advisory Council. I serve on the unit cost committee over there. I work regularly with the DEQ. And the DEQ, I've got a good relationship with everybody over there, but they know when I'm coming, and we're going to be talking about a rule that is wrong. And my heart goes out to them, because what happens, I've been sharing my experience in this aspect. When it comes to the legislative process, I want you to think of it as like a three-legged milking stool when it's working right, okay? And I use this because most people can understand. If you're on a three-legged milking stool and one leg breaks off, you're falling in the manure. You got it on you. There's no getting around it, okay? Well, Oklahoma, we tend to end up with the broken milking stool, because what tends to happen is you have a regulator and a legislator writing the rules that ended up getting coded into law. Then they left the third leg out, which is we, the people, the subject matter experts. And so when you connect the subject matter experts to there, you have a better chance of getting laws that are effective, that work right. And so there's countless laws. I mean, the DEQ and I have had a real good discussion last December, and they're on board. Especially if I get elected, we're going to be able to fix over 100 of those rules that they agree they're bound to by law, that they don't coincide with science and engineering standards. And so all of that experience was happening in all these years. And then this past summer, I just started having these feelings and impressions, and I needed to run for the Senate. I had no desire. I didn't even know who my senator was. And it just one thing led to another. And literally, I found myself on my knees going, really? And I told my wife, and she's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And then a few weeks later, she came to me and she said, this is what we need to do, not me, because you're not going to do this alone. And one of the things that I'll bring up there is this is the first time in my life I've run around saying, pick me. Okay. It's if you listen to when I talked about of building my company, there was a little bit about me, but there's a whole lot about us. And I know how to do that. And I know how to gather people together and build strong coalitions. If anything at all I get done at the Capitol that would be marked as a success is to bring the craziness and identify some true governing principles that we all agree to stick to. Because when the governor of the state of Oklahoma wants to give a massive tax cut and the Senate can't even agree, I mean, we've got some fractures up there. I bring a lot to the table in managing money, managing large projects, all of that. In the groundwater, when you look at what I do from the energy industry, from upstream, midstream, downstream, and then groundwater across the board. I mean, I serve on the board of directors for the largest groundwater organization in the world. I mean, I'm part of a Workforce Oklahoma initiative that association partnered with Oklahoma State in a micro-credentialing program that's basically can transition a person through like a VOTEC experience, and they can stop there if they want, or they can continue their dream all the way to a PhD in professional services, connected to the groundwater industry. I'm very involved and very at the top of those things in this industry, but I think the biggest thing I hope I bring is bringing that unifying the vacuum Senate. We've got to fix that. It's too fractured.